Good afternoon and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Bob Martin. I'm the President and CEO of Imagine America Foundation. Joining me today on today's session of Imagine America Radio is my foundation colleague, Lee Doubleday. Lee and I are extremely excited about today's career topic, STEM careers in the transportation industry with Universal Technical Institute, or UTI. UTI is this country's leading provider of high-quality, career-focused education at 12 locations nationwide. UTI is also a 20-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs, having provided admissions-based financial aid to more than 15,000 enrolling Imagine America students. Without taking valuable time from our presenter, let me refer any and all inquiries about Imagine America Foundation to our website, www.imagine-america.org.
Since our beginning in 1999, Imagine America remains a leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces a serious shortage in certified technicians. We hear from employers in virtually all sections of the country desperately looking for qualified employees, so we need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation is Universal Technical Institute, and joining us today to discuss in detail the looming technician shortage and how UTI is helping meet this need is Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle is a nationally recognized expert in this area with an extensive K-12 background.
Before turning the program over to Dr. Coyle, let me very quickly outline today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum, including questions and answers. Once we finish these remarks, we're going to move directly into today's presentation. All participants can submit questions while the presentation is in session via the Q&A section in the Zoom meeting. At the end of the presentation, or approximately 2:25 p.m., we will then present any questions offered by the participants. We'll address those questions, as many as possible, and provide written responses in follow-up emails. We will have a hard close at 2:30 p.m. So without taking any time out of today's presentation, let me turn today's session over to Dr. Coyle. Dr. Coyle, the floor is yours.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'll get right into our agenda. It'll be threefold: challenges facing the workforce, follow that up with opportunities in the transportation industry, and then we'll close with Universal Technical Institute's career pathways. I always like to start off with the changing workforce because it's changed dramatically from the 20th to the 21st century. As you can see, in the 20th century, we were very much an agricultural manufacturing society with some service in there as well. Today, very much service oriented. And that shouldn't be a surprise to any of you. If you own a house, a car, a washing machine, whatever, you know exactly what I mean when it comes to getting somebody to work on things, especially someone who is qualified. You also might look at that chart and say, wow, agriculture dropped from 41% to 2%. Are we running out of food? We're starving here? And no, quite the opposite. We feed more people with the 2% than we did with the 41% due to technology. But that ties directly into service and the technician shortage. A recent survey was done of 150,000 students, and they were asked, these were great kids from grades 6 through 12, how many of you would like a skilled trades career? You can see about 3% said, yes, this is what I want to do. The same group of students were asked then, how many of you would like a STEM career? Boom, 45% said, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And there lies the disconnect in today with STEM and skilled trades. Students do not see the connection there. Unfortunately, we have educators that also don't see that connection. They tend to think of STEM as more white collar rather than blue collar. What I say is it's all collar because STEM really permeates our workforce and our career pathways. STEM career growth has grown exponentially over the past years and is projected to continue to grow. 13% growth with STEM jobs, which I think is a conservative number. I think it'll even be more than that. All other jobs, about a 9% growth. But the biggest differences are in earnings potential. You can see that with an hourly wage in a non-STEM career averages about $19 an hour, just a little over. A STEM career, almost $39 an hour. And then when you take that to a yearly income, non-STEM occupations, a little over $38,000 a year. STEM, almost $87,000. So a huge difference. And especially when you multiply that by the number of years in a career, whether that's 15, 20, 25, 30, maybe 35 years, that's a huge difference in income potential. Now, I don't mean to mislead you and think that, okay, so I have to do a STEM career. I want to do a non-STEM career, but I can't make any money. That's not necessarily true. There are occupations out there where you can, but the averages are that STEM careers will pay more than non-STEM careers. Just a little over 20% of the jobs today in the country right now require a bachelor's degree for entry. So about 1/5. The startling statistic, though, in my opinion, is the next one. Almost half of the college graduates we have walking around right now, people with a bachelor's degree, either are in a job where they didn't need it or they're just not using it. And that's kind of sad when you think in terms of the amount of time, energy, and money that they have expended to get this bachelor's degree. Not putting down the bachelor's degree by any means, but I'm just saying that's part of our responsibility as educators to give guidance with career readiness and career pathways to get students on the right path to begin with. I love talking about the old smart versus the new smart. You might say, well, what is the old smart? Very simple. Get into the best school you possibly can. You know, that was always our mantra. We always wanted to get into the best school that's out there, no matter what it is. You see that all the time in movies and stuff where, you know, the student are waiting, you know, for that letter from the school that they were accepted and all this. And so try to get into the best school. Then once they get accepted, they get there and figure out what it is they want to do. You might laugh and say, what do you mean? Don't most people know what they want to do? No, they don't. A lot, they go off, you know, I can attest to that myself. I changed my major 3 times. And some of you probably did the same thing. So once we do figure out what we want to do, if we ever figure that out, then we walk out the front door of that institution, degree in hand, go, here I am, world, hire me. Just isn't working anymore today. And you might even look at that and go, Steve, that is so ridiculous. I mean, nobody believes that or nobody does that anymore. I would refer you to the recent admissions scandal and what we've gone through with parents trying to bribe prestigious schools like USC and Stanford to get their sons and daughters in, you know, misrepresenting their kids and paying bribery money. And what they get out of it? Well, they got jail time and fines. You know, it's kind of sad. And what's really sad about it is that many times their sons and daughters didn't even want to go to school in the first place. So it still does go on. So then we move to the new smart. What's the new smart? It starts with the student. What are students good at? What do they like to do? That's the first thing we have to figure out. And then let's figure out what program is going to fit that need. Do they need a bachelor's degree program? Do they need a master's degree program? In some cases, yes, they would. But they might only need an internship program or competency-based credentials, or maybe just an associate's degree to get there. It doesn't make it any less. It's just that's what they need for what they want to do. And we've got to get out of that mindset that, you know, about that they all have to go to college. And we'll talk about that more in just a second. And then once we figure out what program they need, then let's find out what school they need, you know, so that we guide them the right way. You know, Penn State, Penn, those are great schools. But if you want to be a welder, that might not be the best school for you. The rule of 1, 2, 7. If you add 1, 2, and 7 together, you get 10. So what's that mean? For every 10 jobs that are out there right now, only 1 requires an advanced degree, meaning a master's degree or higher. Only 2 require a bachelor's degree. 7 of the 10 careers that are available today, right now, this very minute, only require competency-based credentials or an associate's degree. 7 out of 10. Yet we are pushing students into colleges and universities at almost a 70% clip. So you see, we are doing exactly the opposite of what the economy is dictating to us that we need to be doing. We've got to feed this skills gap that's taking place out there. My job is to educate educators. That's what I do. I go all over the country and speak to counselors, to CTE directors, administrators, and I talk to them about this thing. But you as educators, you have to educate parents and students. Parents, I know, can be tough because they're still part of that old smart thinking. We have to help them understand that skilled trades and STEM do go hand in hand. They are important to each other. We also have to get them out of this mentality that I mentioned earlier, college for all, that everybody has to go to college or university. That's just not true. We do have some that need to go that route, but we also have some students that they need to go a different route. And then finally, we need to remember, what are employers looking for? They are looking for competency-based credentials. What do you bring to the table that can help them? The second part of our agenda today is opportunities in the transportation industry. I don't care if it's a car, a truck, a tractor, an ATV, a motorcycle, a boat, doesn't matter. They are all walking or floating computers. That's what they are today. Let's face it, the technology is high in these vehicles today. And some people look at this, wow, this technology is so cool. It's so, it just makes life easier. There, all these things we have. When I think of the technology, I think of safety. We've all heard that story about somebody backing over a child, sometimes backing over their own child. The backup camera has been a lifesaver, literally a lifesaver, in knowing what's behind us rather than trying to see back there and backing up blind sometimes. Or there's the blind spot indicator. We've all been honked at for trying to pull into the other lane. Somebody lays on their horn and we're like, where'd they come from? Didn't even see them. Of course, they're in our blind spot. But with blind spot indicators, we don't have that blind spot anymore. The sensors pick up cars that are around us. And I can go on and on with all the other gadgets that are on these vehicles now that might make life more convenient and also safer. But the problem is we need technicians to work on this. That is our issue. I read an article not too long ago. They're having trouble getting farmers to buy the brand new equipment. Hey, the new tractors and combines, they all have the technology too. And, it will help farmers to increase their yield. Make more money, turn out more food, but they're shying away from the new stuff because they can't work on it. It's too high tech. And they're worried there's not going to be technicians to work on it. They can't afford to be down in their field. They have to be going every day. So they're buying older equipment. So that, once again, that ties into, we need the technicians to take care of all this technology. Over 1.3 billion vehicles nationwide, over 273 million of those right here in the United States. The technician job openings by 2028, 1.1 million. It's mind-boggling to think about, but it's real. And that's why I keep saying the skills gap is not narrowing, it's widening. That's why we have to address this here and now. And then finally, we get into the third part of the agenda today, and that's Universal Technical Institute's career pathways. Who is UTI? Well, Bob and Lee did a pretty good job describing it in my introduction, is that we are the leading provider of technicians in the transportation industry. We have 12 campuses nationwide. We place over 4 out of 5 of our graduates into their chosen field. And notice I said chosen field. We don't just get them a job. We get them into the career pathway that they chose, that they want to do. And we've had over 220,000 graduates in our now 56-year history. Training programs, we train in 8 different areas: auto, diesel, collision, motorcycle, marine, NASCAR, CNC, and welding. So you can't just come to UTI, you have to be invited. How does that happen? Through a personal interview with the student and their family. We want to make sure that they're a good fit for us, but that we're also a good fit for them. And one of the things that we do is we talk to students about, what do they like to do? What gets them excited? What do they want to be when they grow up? Like we ask all little kids. And so we talk about these, but there's also a lot of careers within careers here. For instance, a student might say, oh, I love cars, but I really don't want to turn wrenches. Is there something for me? Sure, they could be a service writer. That's the person you see when you first go into the dealership with your car and it's making that banging noise and you're describing that to this person. That's a service writer. Or insurance companies. They're always looking for claims adjusters. They love our graduates because they know the car inside and out. When you hit a deer, it's pretty apparent the damage on the outside, but what you don't see is all the damage on the inside. So there's lots of careers within careers here. And that's one of the things that we explore when we're interviewing the student. We have industry aligned technology. What does that mean? It means we align ourselves to industry, to the dealerships. We do online and hands-on. We were doing that before the pandemic. That is part of our education model. Dealerships, they can't afford to send technicians off to train. They're short on technicians as it is. And then to send them off for a week or two to get more training, that's time away, that's money. So what they do is they do a lot of a lot of online training. And that's what we do. We do the online training as well, so that when our graduates move into that dealership for their first job, they're ready. They know what to expect. And then, of course, the hands-on, because you learn by doing and doing and doing and doing. That's how we build our technicians. And our education model is in 3-week segments. Every 3 weeks, we're teaching one course. We immerse that student in that area to make sure they're developing all the competency-based credentials that they need before they can move on to the next topic. That's how we build our technicians from the ground up. Of course, with the pandemic, we had to make ourselves CDC compliant. So how do we do that? First, we assign doors where people enter and leave. Second, require a temperature check. Third, we require face coverings. Fourth, we had to reduce our lab sizes to be CDC compliant with social distancing and with the 6-foot separation. We require washing hands. We clean and disinfect constantly. And then, of course, we offer phone support. If somebody still doesn't feel safe coming into our campus, we offer that phone support to get their questions answered for them. Of course, we love to do in-person presentations, but that's not always the case right now. So we have a whole buffet of virtual presentations that we can use for you. We offer through Zoom, through Microsoft Teams, or if you have your own platform, we can use that instead to reach out to your students. You have to remember that even though the pandemic hit, we're an essential industry. It didn't go away. Your cars and trucks, all this, they had to be worked on still, and they still have the need for technicians, probably greater than ever before. While other areas were hurting, the transportation industry was not. So that's why it's important for us to get out and talk to students about their opportunities out there. You can see on the right, there's some examples of some of the slides that we cover, some of the things that I've covered with you today, and then, of course, some other things too. These are not UTI infomercials. These are for all of your students so that they can see, what is out there today in the economy. Help them to make some choices, because they've got some tough choices to make about career pathways and their career readiness. And so with this, we can help you to deliver that to students. We have a national presence. That's important for 2 reasons. Number one, you walk into a dealership, you'd be hard pressed to find a dealership that didn't know who we are. The second part is for career placement. Because of our locations all over the country, we have a campus in Exton, Pennsylvania. A student may go to school at Exton, but then later maybe gets a great job opportunity in Texas. We're there too, so we can help them with that process. So that's why that national presence is so important. Relationships with the industry. You can see we have over 35 industry partners. In fact, we just added one last week, AGCO Corporation. This is the first ever agricultural manufacturing training program that UTI has ever had. So we continue to expand these relationships, and that's important for the students because this is what we're getting them prepared to work for. We're not preparing students for Jiffy Lube. We're preparing them for this industry, for these, as I call them, the big dogs in the industry. So it's very important that we have these relationships. One of the things that we're very proud of is our TRIP employers. That's Tuition Reimbursement Incentive Program. And in the past, I've talked about these, but I decided for these webinars, I was going to add a couple of examples so you can see firsthand what we mean by a TRIP employer. Here's the Hendrick advantage. The company has over 100 dealers representing 29 brands. So they're all over the country, currently operating in 13 states, over 10,000 employees. What's the package? The total reimbursement, they get $300 a month, every month, above their salary. They can use that to make their student loan payment. They get a tool voucher, $200 a month for 10 months, $2,000. Relocation available on a case-by-case basis. I heard service managers say, I'm not going to lose a quality employee over a couple $1,000s. It's just not going to happen. ASC reimbursement and paid factory training, and then comprehensive benefits package. That's one example. Another one is the Penske Auto Group. The company, over 150 US locations, over 40 world-class brands, Fortune 500 company. What's the package? $420 a month for 48 months to pay off student loans. Tool program, $2,000 reimbursement. 10-year bonus, $3,000 bonus paid after 48 months of employment. It's just crazy that how the industry is willing to invest in our graduates. I can give you some more statistics too. These are the latest from us. We have 4,763 participating employer locations this minute. Average trip package is $13,886. Average tool package, $2,731. Average relocation, $1,956. Average sign-on bonus, $3,011. Average retention bonus, $4,170. It's amazing that industry really wants to invest into these students. That shows you how bad they need technicians. One of the other things that we love to do is we love to show off our graduates. We love to take them to events to talk to future students. Why? Because they're going to tell them the good, the bad, the ugly. They're their peers, so they're going to be honest with them, and students will trust what they say. And it's important that they hear all these things. These students are going to tell them that UTI, you got to work hard, but the rewards are immense. With all the employer opportunities that are out there available. We are Title IV funded, so therefore we require the FAFSA. We have over $15 million in scholarships. We offer housing grants, institutional grants, of course, the trip employers I just told you about, and 30 third-party programs to help cover in emergency situations. We want students to be successful, and we're going to help to get them packaged so that they can reach their goals. I'm a retired educator. I know exactly what you guys do on a daily basis, although this year I can't honestly say that because it's been a different year to say the least. And I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But what we want to do is we want to partner with counselors. We just recently signed an agreement with ASCA. We are their first partner, their first alliance partner. And we're very proud of that. We work closely with counselors all across the country, not just in a few locations. We work all over the country, and we want to partner with you. We want to help you with some of the things that I've already talked about. We know how difficult it's been, and so we want to be there to have your back any way we possibly can. You can find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, and uti.edu. So you can reach out to us in a number of ways. Before I close, I wanted to mention that there's Sean Salmon is the regional admissions director at our Exton campus. He wanted me to mention a couple of things. First of all, we're hosting a virtual dealer visit at Lexus of Lehigh Valley on February the 18th. Flyer is I think it's on our website, but also Imagine America. I've sent them a copy of it too, so it's available there. We're hosting a big event at our Porsche PTAP MSAT in Easton, Pennsylvania, so you want to check that out. And then we conduct regular STEM virtual field trips every few weeks. So reach out to your rep, or if you don't know who that is, reach out to me and I can help make that happen for you. I want to close talking. I always get questions about parents. What can I do about parents? How can I help with them? So I put together a few things for you. First of all, promote your STEM programs. Rebrand some of your names of your classes. Make it more exciting for students and for the parents as well. Host an open house for parents and middle school students. Don't just have an event where people just mill around and don't do anything. Have an event where they've got something to do. Maybe have a STEM demo set up or something like that. And if you want help on that, reach out to me. I can help you with those things. Involve industry. That's what we do. Industry wants to help because they're going to need employees. So they're willing to help you to have events. So invite them. Career Pathways Exploration Days. Don't call them college fairs. All right. When you say the word college, they just think about one specific type of school. We want to explore all types of pathways. Once again, nothing wrong with college, but that's only one pathway. There are many others too. So Career Pathways Exploration Days, so that way you can help all of your students and make them all feel important. And then finally, celebrate all your student successes, not just a few. Parents love that. They love to see their sons and daughters recognized for their talents and abilities. So make sure that you make an effort to find out what it is that you can celebrate with that student and make it a big deal for them. And that will touch the parents, definitely. And then finally, this is my contact information. This is my email address, my phone number. Please feel free to reach out to me. If you have any questions or comments, I want to thank you so much for spending part of your afternoon with me. And good luck with the rest of your school year. I know it's going to be tough, but you'll do it. And we'd like to partner with you. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, great. We are going to now open this up for the Q&A portion of our presentation. If you have a question, please feel free to use the Q&A feature. We also are going to throw up a poll question. This is regarding upcoming virtual events for your seniors. So if you would like more information, we will email you. If you just indicate who you are, we'll email you more information about any virtual events coming up for your seniors. Does look like we have a question that came in, Dr. Coyle. This person wants to know if there are GPA requirements in order to attend Universal Technical Institute.
No, there are not. It's mostly based on that interview that I mentioned earlier in the presentation. We do not have a GPA average requirement, and we also do not require ACT scores or SAT scores.
Okay, and does your Exton location offer housing?
Yes, it does. And I failed to mention that. Yes, we do. We have a partnership with Collegiate Housing Services, so we do have housing available. We also, they're not dorms, they're apartments that we lease. And we also provide housing grants to help make that more affordable too.
Great.
The next question, Dr. Coyle, has to do with programmatic comparisons and cost comparisons with community or technical colleges. Could you talk about that a little bit, please?
Sure, I get this question all the time, comparing us with community colleges. First of all, you have to remember that we are manufacturer-specific training. So as I mentioned earlier, we're not preparing students for Jiffy Lube. We're preparing them for BMW, for Mercedes, these type of companies. Second of all, the time that you're going to spend. Community college, you're going to be in school 2 to 3 years. At UTI, you're going to be there about a year, give or take a month or two. And many of our graduates are 19 years old and they're out in the field actually earning money rather than spending money. And then finally, I would go back to the trip employers that I just talked to you about. It makes school very, very affordable, offering these packages. Now, they don't just give those away. You have to work hard while you're in school. You have to be there on time. You have to be there often, and you have to, keep those grades up and the professionalism, all those things, they weigh into it. But I think that's one of our biggest advantages over the community college.
That's a great answer. It sounds to me like if you really want to get into a career and you want to get into it as fast as you possibly can and not have to wait around, make good money, UTI seems to be something they should be looking at. Would you agree?
Yeah, yes, I very much agree that too. Yes.
Hey, let me, if I may, go over a few housekeeping matters before we close today's session. First of all, the Manage America Foundation is going to compile and forward follow-up questions related to admissions and other issues related to Universal Technical Institute or UTI. Manage America Foundation has recorded this session and is going to be forwarding that recording to each of the registrants on today's call. IAF have placed this session on our website, which I said before was www.imagine-america.org, with downloaded instructions. Listening to the podcast or the recording is an excellent way to supplement what you may have already heard, or to give you a chance to look at it, answer any questions you may have come up with after the session. And then finally, the Manage America Foundation will conduct my colleague Lee Doubleday a questionnaire survey that's going to help us determine what are the next topics and locations for these types of programs. Before closing, I'd like to thank each and every one of the participants for taking time out of their very busy and hectic schedules to join us today. It really means a lot to us. I'd also like to thank Dr. Coyle for sharing with us today's presentation and encourage each and every one of you to contact him directly with any questions related to the presentation or anything UTI might be able to help you with in the future. On behalf of the Manage America Foundation, Dr. Coyle and my colleague Lee Doubleday, thank you for joining us and have a great day.